What's up, Taiwan? I'm Eric Gao, bringing you the news from here in Taipei. Taiwan's major political parties had mixed reactions to the Constitutional Court's ruling on controversial legislative reforms. The main opposition KMT says the ruling shows judicial independence is dead.
不演了，府院党团联手我们的宪法法庭的大法官，公然的挑战民意巧取强夺立法院制衡行政院的行政权的武器。
The Constitutional Court on Friday ruled that legislative reforms passed by the KMT and its allied Taiwan People's Party were partially unconstitutional. While the opposition criticized the results, the ruling Democratic Progressive Party welcomed the ruling, saying the reforms would have handed too much power to the legislature. They're calling on the opposition to accept the decision.
我们刚才看的蓝白所有记者会，还是在做政治操作以及攻击，这是这个国家非常不幸。我们不知道他们这样的态度，将来整个宪政体制要如何运作。
It's harder than ever to buy a home here in Taiwan, with government figures showing you'd have to save every cent for at least a decade. According to the Interior Ministry, home buyers would have to go for an average of over 10 years without eating or drinking to afford a house, a record high. In Taipei, it's nearly 60% longer, needing 16 years of saving to own a home. It's not much better at 14 years in New Taipei City and nearly 13 years in Taichung. Taiwan's salaries have not kept up with skyrocketing housing prices across the country, despite government efforts to cool the real estate market. Israel has launched what it called precise retaliatory attacks into Iran, targeting its military facilities. The attack comes after Iran fired a barrage of ballistic missiles at Israel earlier this month. Iranian state media said several explosions were heard in the capital Tehran and in other parts of the country. Conflict has escalated in the Middle East since last October, when Hamas launched an attack against Israel from Gaza, prompting a response that has left tens of thousands of Palestinian civilians dead. The death toll continues to rise after tropical storm Trami brought widespread devastation to the Philippines, with at least 82 people killed. It's the deadliest storm to hit the country this year. Authorities shut down schools and offices there for a third day as rescue efforts continue, after Trami caused landslides and extensive flooding. Over 300,000 people fled their homes. The country's forecasters say the worst may not be over. The storm appears to be making a U-turn as it gathers strength again in the South China Sea. It's been just under a month since China decided to allow its tourists to return to Taiwan's Kinmen Islands, ending around a 5-year ban. For many people who live there, the lack of visitors has taken a heavy toll. Cadence Coran to travel to Kinmen to find out whether Beijing's decision to let people visit again is making a difference.
It's a slow morning for this shop on Taiwan's outlying Kinmen Islands, with only one Taiwanese tour group here to try its traditional noodles. The store used to be much busier, with customers coming not just from Taiwan, but also from China. But around 5 years ago, because of COVID-19 and cross-strait tensions, Chinese tourists stopped coming to Kinmen, meaning this shop went from seeing over 100 Chinese customers a day to none at all.
其实我们岛上的居民，大家都在等陆客重启开放的这一天。
Kinmen was a battleground decades ago when Chinese communist forces fought against the nationalist army that fled to Taiwan. The islands remained on the front lines of simmering tensions for decades. But it was also one of the first parts of Taiwan where Chinese people could travel directly. Although Kinmen is governed by Taiwan, it's geographically much closer to China. At its closest point, it's only around 3.5 kilometers away. In 2001, limited transportation, trade, and postal connections, called the 3 mini links, made it possible for Chinese tourists to start visiting Kinmen. Over the years, the number of Chinese people coming to Kinmen grew, peaking at around 400,000 in 2019. But after the 3 mini links were shut down due to the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, that number dropped to 0. Kinmen relies on tourism as one of its main sources of income. And in 2019, Chinese tourists brought an estimated $90 million. So when they stopped coming, many businesses here struggled. This fried chicken shop lost around 70% of its income.
陆客他们就很喜欢台湾的小吃，比如说卤肉饭、炸鸡、鸡排、或者是珍珠奶茶。他们还是因为有在地的，但陆客就是他们消费力比较强啊。
In August, Kinmen officials went to China to try and ease travel restrictions. And finally, in late September, China's government announced tourists from its Fujian province could return. But a few weeks later, only around 400 have come, not enough to make any real difference for many businesses. Some local officials say that's because the process for Chinese tourists to get here is more complicated than it was before the pandemic, requiring them to apply for a permit in advance, involving a travel agency and multiple government offices. From where I'm standing in Kinmen, you can visibly see the Chinese city of Xiamen right behind me. It's that close. Chinese tourists can cross these waters in around 30 minutes to an hour by ferry. Because of its closeness, many in Kinmen feel that tourism from China is their most realistic option.
陆客离我们最近嘛，我们不能舍近求远，远的不来啊，我们近的也不要啊，我们要靠什么生存？
Shen Xiuhua, a sociologist who researches Kinmen, says it's also China's large population that people feel could benefit business.
大部分金门人在想象那个经济发展的时候，是非常以中国的市场为想象，他很难去想象其他地方会来一下子那么多。可是厦门就是这么近。
Kinmen's leaders believe the county's history has helped to get through the tough times of the past few years.
金门以前都是苦过来的。 都知道怎么样在最艰难的这种情况之下，可以好好的去survive。这段时间虽然是一个很辛苦的时间，但是其实也带来了一些契机跟改变。
Some Kinmen businesses that were affected by the absence of Chinese tourists found alternative ways to make money, selling their products differently or creating new ones altogether.
冷水的时候，茶包丢下去煮，煮滚就可以喝。
This Chinese medicine shop, which has been around for nearly 200 years, started selling its products online during the pandemic.
疫情开始之后，一些那个网络的，还有那个电商更多啊。反而那这段时间的话，把一些带动起来，就是网络订货更多。
Some also use this time to get ready for when Chinese tourists could come back, like shifting to online payments instead of cash. But there were also businesses in Kinmen that weren't really affected at all. Wang Ling has started several businesses here, including a guest house, a tea house that has since closed, and this gift shop. But most of her customers are from Taiwan and other countries, not from China. She thinks Kinmen should look beyond Chinese tourists.
我当然觉得金门应该要 抛开这个想象，而是你的经济来源、的客户来源应该要从世界各地四面八方的地方过来。
And Kinmen is looking for these kinds of opportunities to expand tourism. One local Kinmen official said he's thought about collaborating with Chinese officials to market Kinmen as a day trip that foreign tourists could take while they're in Xiamen. While many in Kinmen are holding on to hope that throngs of Chinese tourists will soon return, some on these small islands are looking farther, to attract interest from other corners of the world. Ryan Wu, Pichi Zhuang, and Cadence Quaranta for TaiwanPlus.
Women are still a relatively small part of the film industry, especially as directors. But Taiwan's Women Make Waves International Film Festival is shining a spotlight on female talent. Sandy Chi reports.
Braving the wind to get the perfect shot, Taiwanese director Cao Wen-jie is filming a documentary, Bongso Da, Island of People. For 2 years, working with co-director Lin Wanyu, they've been in close contact with the indigenous Dawu people from Lanyu, an island off the southeastern coast of Taiwan, to tell their story. The community is working to balance modern life while preserving their cultural heritage.
我觉得就是拍自己关心的故事，自己喜欢的故事，然后自己觉得可以让大家知道的故事。那别地方的人他要了解你，其实最有效而且最快的方法就是透过纪录片啊，拍这个地方的人事时地物嘛。那这个东西都是最真实的呈现。
Tao's film is part of the Women Make Waves International Film Festival in Taiwan. Women Make Waves is the only and first film festival in Taiwan supporting female talents. Since it started in 1993, it has been screening over hundreds of films from international and local filmmakers. And now this year, it's screening 18 pieces from local directors. Unlike other film festivals, Women Make Waves centers on films with a feminist perspective, going beyond mainstream narratives to highlight voices and issues that are often overlooked and underexplored.
就是女导演的人数是很少，然后那个时候他们可以就是 showcase 他们的地方也很小。可是30年后，就是我们现在是在就是很大的戏院，然后女导演的作品也越来越多。
When the festival first opened, less than 20 films were screened at the event. That's grown to over 100 this year.
那台湾其实女性导演的作品都非常非常优秀，他们也需要一个平台，让女性导演的作品被看见，女性的观点被看见。
Though the film festival sheds light on these voices and topics from women, it's still not enough.
故事还是相对少了许多，很鼓励大家能够多从事除了导演相关，像是产业里面非常需要女性编剧。写故事的人，所以这个也是希望可以鼓励的。
Taiwan has seen a growing number of female filmmakers, especially in documentaries. But despite the significant strides women have made, more needs to be done to ensure they receive equal opportunities and recognition across the industry. Alex Chen and Zani Chi for TaiwanPlus.
Leading galleries are in Taipei to showcase their collections at a major contemporary art exhibition. Every year, this event draws collectors and art enthusiasts from across Taiwan and the world. Wesley Lewis was there.
Showcasing what contemporary art has to offer, the annual Art Taipei Expo has returned to Taiwan's capital. Now in its 31st year, it's not only the country's leading art exhibition, it's one of the oldest and most influential in the Asia-Pacific region. Over 120 galleries from Taiwan and across the world are here. One of the themes at this year's expo is sustainable development. And this Taipei-based gallery has curated a selection that highlights the adverse effects of human activity on our planet.
他想要让人类去在意更多我们没有在意到环境的问题，比如说这个是测试核弹的部分，对，所以平常我们不会 care 到这个部分。那他透过这个作品，想要让我们意识到我们没有平常意识不到的问题所在，这样子，
This commercial event gives both emerging and well-established galleries a platform to promote their pieces. The event also attracts the city's art enthusiasts.
我觉得艺术博览会是很重要，就是艺术家很重要的一个发表的舞台，这样子。
我很喜欢，就是这里可以看到每个艺术家用不同的媒材去把他的心血放在他的作品里面。
Sculptures are amazing, interesting works. Yeah, lots of imagination and artistic.
This year's showcase is diverse, with some galleries displaying pieces inspired by traditional Chinese calligraphy, and others taking a more whimsical avant-garde approach. As galleries here highlight the ever-changing and expansive nature of contemporary art, the organizers of this event continue to work towards positioning Taipei as a cultural hub in the global art market. Kama Xu and Wesley Lewis in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Finally, we take you to Copenhagen's Tivoli Gardens, which have been decorated with over 22,000 pumpkins for Halloween. I'm Eric Gao. Take care, and we'll see you later.
A pivotal election that will impact Taiwan and the world. Will it be President Harris or President Trump?
People, we are moving forward.
Make America great again.
I'm in the United States in the final stretch.
TaiwanPlus has you covered with exclusive reports from California to Texas and Washington to Florida. We'll be there on election night as America decides. Only on TaiwanPlus.